What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Passing Under the Yellow, episode 4, our Phoenix recap. We're going to go over ARCA, Xfinity, and Cup Series. A 15-year-old winning in the ARCA Series, Sammy Smith, one of the youngest winners ever in the Xfinity, and William Byron stealing one from Harvick and Larson at Phoenix. Welcome back. Welcome in my co-host, Matt Kemp. How you doing, Matt?
Pretty good. Hey, don't forget we're going to talk about Denny and Ross too. That's been a hot subject.
We'll be covering it all here on Passing Under the Yellow, episode 4.
Yeah. So I know I've been doing all right. How about you? I know you've been up to a lot lately. Made some announcements.
Yep, pretty cool. Thanks for bringing that up. We're real happy to finally announce that I'll be going full time racing this year. Butler Motor Speedway for Ohio Racing, and their number 99 UMP Dirt Modified. Really excited about that. We're gonna have Long Drink come back this year, which I'm thrilled for. We've had a really good relationship going on with them. They like the engagement they're seeing, so we're gonna bring them back. Uh, like it's my choice. They chose to come back and help. Really happy about that. Can't wait to show them kind of the value of being involved with a race team for the full amount, whole season. And, they've been a heck of a supporter so far. So really excited about that. Really excited to be driving for Stephanie and Bob. They got some pretty good equipment over there. I'm not sure kind of what to expect with the dirt stuff. Um, Never really.
You have about as much experience on dirt as I do. We ran a dirt mini cup a few years ago,
Yeah,
and
Bob
that's
said
about it.
that. Bob says that doesn't count, and I'll
No.
take his word for it. So yeah, looking forward to doing that. Made a little announcement yesterday in social media, and then today we were able to go. It's kind of funny how just the dates worked out there, but I was asked to come down to a local elementary school about 15 minutes away from me and read to some kids, first and second graders. I did this last year to help them get motivated for reading month. So I thought that was pretty cool. I always love doing that, man. They ask some pretty funny and interesting questions, and I love, we got to show them one of my races from back in the day that I won, and they were going all crazy. It was really cool, and they're really into it, and I just like doing that type of stuff, and it's fun to do. So thanks for Arnold Elementary for having me out. That was a lot of fun. But now ready to talk some racing. Ready to get to racing too. I will use this podcast throughout the year. I know Matt will probably be doing some racing at some point this year, but now that I'll be racing, this will kind of be a way for me to talk about my experience throughout the year of doing something I've never done and getting my ass handed to me probably on a weekly basis. It'll do some humbling for sure. So look forward to kind of anyone that follows along with this. We'll obviously be talking about NASCAR and stuff, but depending on how much racing Matt and I do, we can do full podcasts that's dedicated to kind of our careers in racing. If you follow either of us, you probably know we're aspiring drivers with little to no funding, so we're just trying to make it out here. And maybe one day we'll look back and like, damn, we made it. That'd be great. But for right now, I got to be happy with the opportunities we've been blessed with, and hey, just to be in a car full time again is going to be awesome, and kind of bring my name back into the mix and be a little bit more relevant, other than running once or twice a year in ARCA. So obviously, I'll still be doing my best to secure sponsorship for the ARCA stuff or Xfinity or whatever comes about. It's got to be in the right place at the right time for that, but hopefully I can show my value to Long Drink and they like what they see. And, I made it clear to them I want to be a part of that brand and the growth of that company for years to come. So um, we're celebrating the little wins right now, and the little wins is getting these opportunities. So now gotta go out and do the part that we talk about all the time. That's driving. So looking forward to driving the wheels off of the Long Drink number 99 modified this year. And yeah, tune in weekly. I think our season starts at the beginning of May and goes through Octoberish. So we'll be touching on the racing in our lives and the racing that we watch. So should be a fun year. Matt, you got anything to follow up with that?
Yeah, no. Just happy for you to finally get back to full-time racing. People don't realize when you're out of the media as long as you have been that for how hard you've been grinding for the last eight
Yep.
years or whatever it's been with just running the ARCA stuff, working so hard all year round just to run a race or two, and then sometimes that year, you break on lap 10 or something, and
or
you work for a whole
before
year
the
to break
green
on lap 10
starts.
or
Yeah,
before the green. Yeah, exactly. Fortunately, last year you finally got to finish the whole race, ended up on the lead lap in the top 10. So,
last two
just happy.
races. Yeah,
Yeah,
last two
exactly.
races. So I'm sure we got terrible luck coming our way.
Yeah, it's swinging back around, but
Yeah,
either way, just happy that you get to have that
thanks.
opportunity. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully a lot of people follow along and enjoy it. But yeah, I guess it's time to talk some racing, some
Yeah,
NASCAR.
I was only gonna throw in there. I didn't know how much you wanted me to say about how much you'll be racing, but I was gonna be like, defending champion here is trying to defend his title, but I don't know if that would be
Yeah,
accurate
well,
to say.
the whole reason we're doing this podcast is so I can take videos of
Proof.
myself with this and have proof of
Yeah.
it for when I lose it this year. So,
Okay.
yeah, because I don't have the funding to run all year. So yeah, we'll definitely be
Okay. I just
cherishing this
wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping on any toes.
to me.
All right. So for the ARCA series, let's dive into that. We How do you say that guy's name? Tyler Reef,
Something like
15
that,
years
sure.
old. Uh, Wins his first ARCA race. That's pretty impressive. 15 years old. Who owns that car? That 41 car? Do you know?
No clue.
I don't know, but they beat out Venturini, and I think we touched on early on in the year of kind of the lack of talent in those cars a little bit. Someone who isn't in there, that's Jesse Love. A couple of them got into wrecks. I think it was the 25 ended up wrecking Jesse Love. They're trying, I don't know what he was thinking. But anyways, what were your original thoughts on just overall ARC race?
Definitely, I think the most exciting race of the weekend. I think William Solich had the car to beat
Mm-hmm.
when he was out front, especially in the first like 5 laps. He ran like half a second a lap faster in the field for like 5 laps in a row or more. So it was like, okay, this one's over. And I really thought it was over there at the very end until he just got absolutely destroyed on
Yeah,
the first from last restart.
yeah, yeah. I know. I think the '06 car Moyer was in like at least three or four of those yellows. I remember seeing a replay of I
I
don't
think
know the
every single
guy.
one. Are you talking about the 32 car?
I don't know if it was the 32 or the '06. Maybe it was a white car.
You
Oh
might be
my
talking about someone else, but I'm
gosh.
talking about the 32 because I think he was actually in every single wreck, and
We
he
could be
was
maybe talking about the same person, but
could be.
it was nuts. I don't know how they didn't start black flagging those guys for being in more than two or three wrecks there. I know there was quite a few cautions in that race, but even the leader or the guy that ended up winning the race, he spun early on in the race, ended up winning it. And I guess we can jump into that. So, um, that last restart we were kind of discussing before we went on air here, just yeah, I mean the Landon Lewis, I think I can't recall what car number, 15, 17 he
Yeah,
was
I think it
in.
was a 17.
I mean, he left like a country mile early. And then NASCAR, I don't know what their thoughts were on that, but then they called it a good restart. I think any other series, any other day of the week, NASCAR is calling that a bad restart. I don't know if they just wanted to get it over with or what, but then the Landon Lewis ended up costing himself the race in the last corner. I don't know what he was thinking. He had a massively, I think he had 10 car lengths on Tyler Reef, and I mean, he just pissed it all away there in the middle of three or one and two down there, and 41 comes through and wins the race. I don't know how NASCAR. I don't know what the difference is in the officiating between the ARCA and all the other divisions, but I mean, my gosh, I don't know how you let that restart go. It was ridiculous, and
If the 17 won the race, if he crossed the line first, I don't know if they would have let it go. I think they'd have had to. There would
yeah,
have
I don't
been
know.
an uproar if they would have let him win that race after that restart. He went before the box.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
wasn't even close.
and they made the box bigger.
Yeah,
That's what's crazy. I don't know what the whole thought process was there, but all in all, a pretty decent race for the ARCA. I think they had 30 plus cars out there.
awesome to
Uh,
see.
Yeah, it's good. They always get a lot of guys out there from the east side of the country that like to go out there. So that's about it for ARCA. Unless Matt, you got anything else?
Pretty impressive for such a young guy to be winning, and again, pretty exciting race.
Yeah, I was honestly I'll end up on saying I seen Greg Van Alst was running third there on that last
He's your
restart.
points leader.
He's the points leader. Yeah, I was hoping he'd be able to. When that restart got jumbled up, I was hoping he'd be able to make a run at it. But it's cool to see him up there in the mix there running late. So that's it for ARCA. We'll go into the Xfinity stuff. All right, Xfinity series. We were talking about how many yellows there were in the ARCA race, but I mean in the Xfinity race, I guess there was 11 yellows for 69 laps. So it's pretty eventful. Big loser I felt like throughout the day was Justin Allgaier. He got caught up in a wreck there mid to before halfway. I think I'm not sure exactly what lap that was on, but there's a lot of stuff going on, little spins and stuff here and there that yeah, I mean I don't have every caution listed out, but I know Allgaier was that one JRM guy that kind of had the shit luck of the weekend. It was
Yeah,
cool to see guys.
Allgaier, he made me eat
But
my words after what I said last week. I was saying
yeah,
I never saw him run good there, and he won both stages. So
yeah,
way to go, Justin, proving me wrong. Nice job
yeah,
there. But and to the JRM guys, I'm sure you'll touch on that too.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what happened to Brandon Jones. He finished outside the top 15, I'm sure. And
That was
then
that was
Barry,
there was
Barry ran
another.
Barry ran pretty well. So did Sam Mayer, didn't they?
Well, they did. They also ran into each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. I guess. I mean, you elaborate more on that for us.
Yeah, so it was I believe it was Barry and Mayer, and Barry got spun out by Mayer, and
Oh
then
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember.
later in the race, Brandon Jones was racing around Justin Allgaier, just got loose under him again and took out a
Hmm.
teammate
Yep,
again.
yep.
It's like the
That's
third time this year.
it's every race this year that nine car is having to get something fixed on it. I'll just leave it at that. Um, but yeah, it sucks for Allgaier. I thought he was probably a guy that could go out there and win. I think Sammy Smith obviously had the best car. He led 92 laps. That was race high for anybody.
Youngest
I
winner in
thought,
Xfinity history, I believe, right?
is that right? I
Yeah,
don't know if
he's
that's
18 years old. I know. I think he beat William Byron's record. I think Byron was 19 or something.
what a dick. I'm just kidding. Congratulations, Sammy Smith, on your well-deserved win that you worked really hard for.
He
I
was
thought
very
it was
excited about it too.
Yeah, did you hear that raw motion?
Uh,
Yes, guys. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's a grassroots racing win if I've ever not seen one in my life. Jesus God. Raw motion from guys that work hard to get to that position. Let's just end there. Couple more things on Xfinity. I was hoping Ryan Truex would come up there and steal that. That was my that would have been great. And then obviously last lap there, Kyle Busch sending on his teammate Chandler Smith and ended up costing him like 6 or 8 spots, I want to say, because they're battling for top five. I know that he fell to like 12th or something. I want to say Kyle Busch did there at the end. But any thoughts on that? I thought it was just hard racing, and Kyle got in and wrecked.
they were definitely racing each other really hard, but I felt like Chandler was really outrunning Kyle the last couple weeks. Truthfully, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's just a
yeah.
crew chief difference or if if
I think
Chandler's just
Kyle's
been
got to adjust to the Chevy stuff too. I think if
that too.
Kyle was in a JGR car every week this year or
Well, you
whatever,
saw what the 18 car did. If Kyle was in there,
right?
he'd have lapped the field. I mean,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
nothing against Sammy Smith. I mean, obviously he's really good. This was his fourth start, so
yeah.
pretty awesome for him to get it done, and as young as he is too. But yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know. I think Kyle would have lapped the field probably.
even the guy who finished second, Truex, is a limited time guy in those JGR cars. No one was going to
Yeah.
beat them. I think it'll take Colleague a little bit of time to get their stuff back to where it was a couple years ago, and Allmendinger and everyone was Justin Haley guys were winning all the races. But either way, it's pretty much. I guess I'll just end on saying, we had our picks last week for the Xfinity series. You picked or who'd you pick?
I picked Parker Kligerman.
Parker Kligerman, he's
It was a
top
great pick.
15. Yeah, hey, he's all
Yep.
right. He destroyed his car in qualifying. That was the
Yeah, I
problem. I
saw
don't know if you
that.
saw that.
Yep.
Trying too hard. And Riley Herbst, man, he's the sleeper. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is, but he's top five again. So I think is where he ended up. So he's he might be able to prove me wrong. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but he's having a pretty strong start to the year. The best start he's ever had for sure.
Oh, by
So
far, yeah, and he's really surprised me too, and really been
yep,
proving me wrong this year. So kudos.
yep, yep. Riley Herbst is proving me wrong. Brandon Jones is not. We'll just send that. So that's it for the Xfinity series. Let's go Cup racing. All right. I don't have shit to talk about for the first two stages. Who was the only? There's only one natural yellow in the first two stages, and it was Almirola,
Yeah, I actually
the
don't.
wheel
Was that
coming
even in
off.
this? Was that even in the stage? I think that was like It might have been at the end of stage two,
I think it
but
was.
it
They had
was,
that graphic there up on the TV where it showed where the stage ends and where the
yeah,
natural caution was. I think
which
that
was
was
a really
just.
cool graphic,
I
by the
like
way. That
that.
was really
I like
nice.
that.
Good touch.
But I think Almirola was the only caution the first two stages. So
Yeah,
all right, we'll
I
jump into that.
definitely. But I mean, Hendrick Motorsports, the first two stages was just lights out. Byron drove from what did he start like fourth all the way to the lead and just drove away. And it
Yep.
seems like whoever has the lead has just such an unbelievable aero advantage. They just leave the field every time. At least
Yeah.
that's what I've noticed.
Yeah. At least these first couple races. To be honest, I saw that all of the numbers for each race this year have been down just slightly for every race, which I think you could argue last year there was a lot more. I mean, obviously it was on the mend up. Not that, even 1% down, people will knock that for NASCAR just because it's down. I think the only thing it finished to second to was like the players tournament this weekend. I don't know. You could also attribute that to the late start time, whatever. But anywho, yeah. I mean, the first two stages of that race was a Hendrick show, and I truly do believe. I think Hendrick combined as an organization will win the most races this year. I think them having that Garage 56 entry for Le Mans, isn't that correct? Isn't that what
Yep.
they're doing? I
24 hour
think
Le Mans.
that I think that is a massive advantage for Hendrick because no other team is able to work on and have the ability to use other. I'm sure they are actually, but to be able to work on kind of a car that has a little bit of unrestriction to it, that's not NASCAR sanctioned. It's pretty much the same car. I think is a huge advantage, and I think that's why you're going to see the Hendrick stable with probably double-digit wins this year. I wouldn't be surprised. Byron, he's already on his way there. Larson is going to win 3 races. Uh, your boy Bowman, I don't know. He'll back into a couple of them probably.
Backed right into the points lead so far.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, even Matt Kenseth won a championship with 1 win, so I hope. Oh, I'd be eating my words if he does well. But I mean, hey, he's in the best stuff in the field right now. I think the Fords are a little bit. I mean, other than Harvick, they seem to obviously hit on something. They're late in that race, but
None of his
look,
teammates did.
no, yeah,
They were
nice,
so far off. I mean,
yeah.
Briscoe was okay. He was
He
top
came
10,
back there. He
but
came back there, but I mean, kind of back to clean up the first two stages. I mean, it was just a Hendrick show, and I think he put Chase Elliott out there. Um, he runs right up there with him. Um,
Barry got a top 10. That was a pretty good day for him
yeah,
too.
his only lap in the top 10 was the last lap.
Yep.
That's what I read. So,
But hey, that's what the stat's gonna say forever. So good for him.
yep, yep. So, I mean, like we were touching on, Almirola had a pretty shitty day. He was the only cause of a natural yellow in the first two stages, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. People have I don't know. People always bitch about stuff once it's been here and gone, but we went to stage racing for a reason. Could you imagine if that entire race didn't have stages?
A lot of
Could
green
you
flag
imagine?
racing. Yeah,
Well, but no, Hendrick cars would have won that race by, pending a bad pit stop or an issue. Those two cars were going to beat the field by half a track by themselves, just them two. I think the stage racing, I like it. I'm thankful for it. But just a little bit of, you know, response to people who always bitch about wanting stage racing gone. I think it improves the racing throughout, and it also, you know, we needed those yellows, man. That shit sucked to watch. It was boring in the first two fucking stages. I'll say that right now. um,
I don't think you're wrong.
I
It
don't think
was
there wasn't much passing too. I didn't notice much about this different aero package either. I guess the drivers said there was a little bit. I mean, I know there's a massive amount of fall off, which is great, but fall off doesn't always mean good racing. I mean,
well, just for an example, I mean the Hendrick cars, like I said, Larson and Byron finished 1-2 in both stages,
mhm.
but that pass for the lead happened on the restart both times.
Yeah, there was no passing any time after 10 laps into a run in a run.
After 2 laps into a run,
It was
honestly.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And what was I going to touch on? Dang, I just had it.
I know Harvick moved through the field a lot. I mean, he obviously came all the way through the field and drove to the lead. I feel like he was like the only one to do that, which was I thought was like super, super impressive and said a lot about him and that 4 car right now.
Yeah, I love seeing that for him. I want to see him kick ass. I'd be happy with him winning 8 races in the championship this year, it being his last year. But also, what I was going to touch on is I think NASCAR has listened to the drivers and said, we need to fall off in these cars to produce racing. I don't. I think that is agreeable to an extent, and I think what they do is they need to take the shifting out of these cars at these tracks. I think that would help so much because there's no. You've heard drivers say it in the past. There's really with the new 5 gear shifter is there's no real repercussions for if you miss a corner, dive bomb, and you just grab a gear and you can get right out of there. And I think the shifting is what needs to be addressed. Take the gear them, put them in a gear ratio box where they can't run fifth gear and they have to run third, fourth. And I know some of the tracks, like even Pocono and stuff, before this, guys were shifting. At Phoenix, I don't know if they were shifting down to third ever, but I know at Martinsville they never were. I know at Bristol they never were. I know at most mile and a half they never were. But I'm saying for the a track like Phoenix, the shorter tracks, anything a mile and under, to have the best racing, I think you got to take the shifting out of the car. So that's my 2 cents on why we probably didn't see as much passing. It's a power band issue, and it's a issue that I think can be solved.
Yeah, well, I think for this package specifically, we do need. I agree with the shifting. That definitely does need to change, but I don't think we should write the package off quite yet, just because Phoenix is Phoenix. Honestly, even though it wasn't a great race, and I know they changed the package and all, there
Yeah,
wasn't a whole
yeah,
lot of passing. I feel like that's just been Phoenix throughout the whole
yeah.
time it's been
I
around
can't.
so far.
Yeah, I can't wait until we don't have the season finale there. They just literally anywhere besides there, Texas or
Daytona.
other. Not well. It might be more. I mean, it'd be more entertaining. That's for sure. Phoenix just has not done it. I don't recall. I mean, I don't know about you. Can you recall any of these championship battles we've had there of being anywhere remotely interesting? It's always the
No,
same guy. One guy gets out and it's really gone unless a mistake happens.
and here's the
Not
thing for
not
me
good racing.
is when the season ended, when it was at Homestead, it it wasn't always a great race at Homestead, but it was, I mean, it always felt like a championship race for some reason, it did.
There's a
Like,
lot of
the
coming and
sunset.
going there. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
coming and going there, and it's just
It doesn't feel like it now. It just, I don't know,
no
it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't
the
feel
atmosphere.
exciting.
Yeah, I agree
I
with
don't
you.
know. Yeah, I mean, the
Um,
facility's great, obviously, but I don't know, just
yeah,
don't feel it.
I think that's what NASCAR is looking at is the places that are willing to put 100, $200 million into restructuring their stuff, like we discussed last week, how Michigan needs to do. Um, they deserve it. I will say that those tracks that have been putting the time and effort and money into their facilities and make stuff right, Michigan International Speedway needs that so bad. And I think if they did that, shoot, they might even put us in the damn playoffs. You never know. First race of the first round, late August, early September, we could do it. It's the weather here makes no damn sense anyways. It's just like half of the other country or half of parts of the other country. So you never know. And I think Michigan has that capability of becoming what California will be and was. So you never know. You might see Michigan here in the playoffs in the next 5 years, depending.
Remind me a lot about when Loudon was in the playoffs years and years ago.
Oh, that place.
Um, but it's about the same. I'm not going to disagree with you, but it's about the same. What is it? Latitude, longitude, whatever, as Michigan. So, I mean, they put Michigan late enough in there, and you're going to have some foliage and junk, so it'll look real
Yeah, well,
nice.
I mean, usually the last several years when the trucks ran there, that was part of their playoffs because
Yeah.
the
Well, that was in
playoffs.
August.
Yeah, well, in the playoffs usually start in late August. Michigan notoriously the last several years they've been moving it closer to the playoff cutoff line, and I think the last 2 years it was like 2 or 3 races both times
Yeah.
before it was the play. So hey, take freaking stupid Indianapolis off of there and move us up. I don't know. I think Indy's actually before us, which makes no sense. But I'm sure there's another track I could bitch and complain about that would make more sense for Michigan to be there. Completely biased, by the way. But anywho, I guess we can touch on those last two restarts for the Cup race. I know the first caution, I think what was Ty Gibbs and somebody getting together the caution that brought out the restart that screwed Harvick. Harvick was going to win that race, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that was
Caution with what
Harrison
four?
Burton.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
it was the right call on NASCAR to throw the caution. I will
Oh
say
yeah,
that
100%. Had to throw that. That was a good,
because I
there
think
was a
the
caution for sure.
I think Clint and Danica, which we could talk about them. Uh,
I'd rather not.
yeah, and nothing really good to say. But I think it's a right call for the yellow. And then the caution, I think it was also the right call for Harvick to take four. I thought everyone was going to take four except maybe two or three guys way in the back. And I don't know. I guess you can just survive. If you can survive 2 laps in clean air without anyone getting to you, you'll be okay. I think if Harvick gains 2 positions on that after that first caution before the second one, he probably might have something for him. But yeah, it seems like as if you can get out front and just survive for 2 laps on old tires, you can make it happen. So hate it for Harvick. I really wanted to see him win. That would have been sweet. That second what caused the second caution there on that overtime? Do you remember?
Yeah, they once they got to the first overtime and to actually bring out the second overtime, I think they were both overtime, weren't they?
Yeah.
Um, that was Gregson and no, it was Allmendinger who got up into Gregson, I believe it was, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ty
I feel
Gibbs
like
ended up plowing in the back of him.
Allmendinger has wrecked every last lap of every race this year.
I don't know, it does feel like that, doesn't it?
He
I don't
wrecked
know if
last
that's,
week. I don't know if that's accurate, but I know he wrecked at
yeah,
Vegas.
I think
So I
so.
don't know.
I think you're accurate.
His cup, I'm sure he's loving cups this year.
Every time I see him wrecking though in the last few laps, I'm like, it doesn't matter. He's gonna win a road course. He's got to.
He
There's so
should. I
many.
don't
He's
see.
got
I
to
don't see
win
how
one
he
of them.
doesn't.
If he
He
doesn't win
has
one of
to.
them, I will be mind blown. I mean,
I will be too.
it'll be a real shame too, because truthfully, I mean, the way he was running last year,
Yeah.
he's gotta come around at some point here.
I think Colleague has a little work to do on their stuff, but I think if they get a half decent for a road course, he'll be in a top 3.
I
That's
think
all he
so.
needs.
Easy.
Um, but yeah, that very last restart where you talk about Larson and Byron racing off in turn one really hard, and I thought Larson was going to fence Byron there, and then they were 3 wide coming off of turn 2 with Blaney. I was really hoping Blaney was going to get it, or even Reddick. Reddick had brand new tires. I was hoping one of those 2 guys would go up there and steal it. I just didn't want a Hendrick car to win because they've been dominating the whole damn day. I mean, it was a good finish though. I mean, I would have been happier if Harvick won, obviously, and they let it play out, but it was the right call for the caution. And then he was just marred back in traffic, could never really get it back going. So, um, yeah, I really thought, you know, I would have rather had Larson win it over Byron just because more
Different winner.
winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Larson is. I don't know what this is gonna do for Larson, whether it's gonna hurt his confidence or if it's gonna make him step it
hungrier,
up a little bit. Yeah,
drive like a
hungrier.
dick. Yeah.
Well, hey, I
He
mean,
drives his teammates kind of like a dick sometimes. I felt like I think he was even surprised that Byron didn't wreck there
yeah.
when he
Well,
ran him
you
in the
can tell
center.
he tries really hard to put the people around him in tough positions, so
Bad
they have to
positions.
lift. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how he races. And I
But
feel
I
like
mean, he left Byron enough room that he didn't wreck him. So I mean, I don't know. I felt like
barely.
it was
Yeah.
fair.
I think
Yeah.
he
I
was
mean, it
just
was
trying
just
to
enough.
put him, like I said, put him in a bad spot to make him lift.
Yeah, for sure.
But good job, Willie B. Um,
I
Josh
was
Berry.
disappointed. I was really disappointed with
Oh,
that
I
last
did.
caution.
Oh, I did not want. Well, yeah, I didn't. I
That
was
last run,
disappointed.
honestly, with pit stops and with Harvick tracking down Larson, that was
Oh, it was
honestly going to be
sweet.
a
It was good
great
racing.
race.
It was
It
good
actually
race.
was. So
Yeah.
I will say, the whole day there wasn't a whole lot of passing. Harvick obviously was the only one that seemed like he was able to do it. Unfortunately, it was for the lead. So
Yeah, he made it
up
count.
until
It
that
just
caution,
sucks that happened.
yeah.
Josh Berry, like we said, pretty cool for him. I think all 100 cars finished in the top 10. Isn't that
So,
accurate? Where'd your boy Bowman finish?
ninth.
There
Yeah.
you go. He's hanging out back there with a guy who has 2 cup starts. Good job, Alex. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
He's got
That's
to
a
qualify better. He blew it in qualifying.
yeah. But cool for Josh Berry to get up in 10th. That was like the first thing I saw when they crossed the line. I was like, holy shit. Um, I
People
guess we
watching
can.
this are gonna think I'm a Bowen fan because you say that all the time. When
You are.
I'm picking him to have a good year, but I'm not like I like
No, I'm
Bowman. I'm
saying
not like a you know I don't
hater.
have a 48 hat for Bowman anyway. I'm a big
Yeah.
Jimmy fan, but
Well, I
um,
guess we can kind of touch up on your opinion on the Denny and Ross situation there on the last restart. I don't know if you've heard any of Denny's comments on his podcast, but pretty much fully admitted like he knew he wasn't going to make the corner. He said, "Oh, screw it, Ross is out there. He's coming with me." It's pretty much exactly what he said. So it sounds like Denny, and for those who don't know, you go back and watch the replay. Last restart, they were about 4 wide getting into turn 1. Ross is on the outside. and Denny just pretty much goes up and puts him in the fence, drives Ross into the fence. Ross gets back out in front of him, and then Denny gets a run coming off the corner and just runs straight into Ross. So Ross says, "Screw you," and brake checks the shit out of him. So then Denny sends him in the next corner. They finish like 23rd and 24th or something like that. From my perspective, the video I've seen, it looks like Denny just turned into a little bit of a douchebag there. And he knew he was not going to make the corner. He said he was on two tires. Went up, took Ross out. I think Ross was on two as well. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he
Either way,
was.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. But then Ross gets away, and I don't know what really caused Ross to check up so bad going down the backstretch. But I mean, Denny just ran right into his ass. It was
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
no,
And
it
then
was Ross's brake pedal that caused him to stop so bad. He definitely brake checked him,
wait,
and he brake checked
oh
him good a
yeah,
couple times.
yeah, and then Denny just sends him there, getting into the next corner or two. But I don't know. I think Denny just, sir, I don't know what he was really thinking. I think he started all of that for really no reason. Um, I love it. I hope NASCAR doesn't do anything. I hope they let him go at it the whole freaking season. Um, I don't know. That's pretty much my only real thoughts about it. I thought, uh, you know, it is interesting because something else I'll kind of touch on. We can get your, feedback on that, Matt. As I saw a couple people like Kenny Wallace and others on Twitter today comparing the Denny Hamlin and Ross situation, like how Dale Earnhardt would have reacted. I don't know if you saw any of that or not.
I didn't see
No,
any of that.
check those videos out. But uh, Pete Pistone of the Morning Drive chimed in, and I didn't know if you saw my Twitter tweet or not, but I will re- reiterate it to you here. So Pete Pistone says it's been 22 years, but sure, let's keep comparing everything in the sport today to Dale Earnhardt. And I just felt like this was too good of an opportunity for me to chime in here. And I said, just curious if you have ever listened to Trading Paint literally once any day ever, because Chocolate Myers cannot answer a single question without comparing everything to how it was back in the day. Um, and majority of the time, there's a Dale Earnhardt reference in there. So I want to know what the difference is there. I thought that was some really funny media hypocrisy because even Larry Mack, half the time when he goes back and tells stories, it's about Davey Allison, it's about Dale Earnhardt, Kenny Irwin. I guess it's just what you're comparing it to and who you're comparing it to, and the situation is what my opinion is on that. Because that is, I think, hilarious. The comment by Pete. He hasn't responded to what I said yet. I'm sure Dave Moody, chime in there and make some excuse for why they make their decisions on what they say and how they determine who is affected by it. I don't know. I thought it was a good opportunity, but I don't know. If you ever listen to Trading Paint, I would urge you to just turn the radio down when they come on because it'll make you want to smash your head into your steering wheel. It's so difficult to listen to Chocolate Myers doing what Pete the Stone says everyone shouldn't be doing, is comparing the sport to how it was when Dale Earnhardt was here. I do it. They do it, but you just can't do it when we're talking about Ross and Denny, apparently. So I don't know. Either way, I hope NASCAR lets him go. Even and the big thing is anytime that anyone's ever caused an accident or gotten into it with somebody, the only time it's affected them is if a caution comes out, and a caution did not result in those two getting together. So what are you really gonna fine or penalize Denny for in that situation?
Saying he tried.
So
Yeah,
but I mean,
I don't think it.
I bet there's a
There's no
lot of
case.
times there's no case because I bet there's been a lot of times where Chase Elliott has tried to wreck Kevin Harvick last year but didn't do it. He did try a couple times, but it was
Well, he
very
didn't say.
obvious.
Yeah, he didn't say it though. I mean, apparently that's the difference. Is if you just keep
Yeah,
your
you
mouth
can't
shut.
admit
But I mean,
anything, but
and you wonder why we have robot drivers, because if they say anything, they're gonna get penalized. So I mean, I'm hoping this does not
oh
really
god,
end
I
up in a
know he's gonna
penalty
be
because
4 episodes into his new podcast and literally getting a fine. Dale Jr. is gonna have to give him a hell of an insurance clause or something.
yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time that Denny's been fined by NASCAR for saying something that probably shouldn't have resulted in a fine.
I hope he doesn't get fined.
I hope not.
I'm team let everything go as long as it can without anybody getting hurt. So other than that, I don't have really much else to touch on. We can do our quick picks for Atlanta, which will be, I'm sure, a shit show of drafting. Matt, who do you got?
Chris Buescher.
Not bad. I'm gonna go with. Let's throw it up to LaJoy. You ran well there last year. I'll go with the sleeper. Our picks for last week were Christopher Bell, and Harvick, both of which did pretty well. So we're keeping track, not really. So thanks everybody for tuning in this week. Passing under the yellow, our Phoenix recap. We'll see you next week after Atlanta. Ciao.
Love it when it's four wide, love it when it's fast, love it when the leader's called, the pack is moving past, love it when they make you lots and lots of noise, can't wait to hear the double say.